Again, my name is Jeni Said with Legal Shield. This is Ladies of Justice. Let me get into what Ladies of Justice is. Whether you're a repeat viewer or maybe this is your first time listening to the replay, we are Ladies of Justice, and this is our mission statement. Our mission is to help improve lives with our services and to provide women the opportunity and environment to build their belief, confidence, and to step into their greatness and power, controlling their lives, to create choices, and to live a purposeful life. I love that about Legal Shield and Ladies of Justice is because whether we work for Legal Shield or not, which we featured many women who are not partnered with Legal Shield, but they all have about the same cause from helping people and having the core values to discover your worth, taking ownership, building an inclusive and diverse community, elevating women as we climb, and to create wealth and legacy, owning our seat at the table and integrating family as we do that. That is exactly who we are and what we do, whether or not, again, you're partnered here with Legal Shield. If you're on this call, you're connected somehow to someone that is involved with Ladies of Justice heavily, and that just adopts you into the family, I would say, into our Ladies of Justice families. And I'm going to give the table to our incredible Lady of Justice today. She is at her job right now on her break, so I so appreciate her taking the time to just share her heart about what it is she does. We'll get some details to you after she goes on, after she speaks on how to get in touch with her or how to even just get information about what she's sharing with. But I'd love for her to not just share what she does, but also share why it's important to her, you know, whether it came from her upbringing or whether it came from her background or whatnot. And you know, this is what these calls are about, is mostly about the women, not per se too much about their profession, although it does have a lot to do with what and who they are, but really just who they are as a woman, who it is that they desire to be in their well-being. And so I'm going to turn it over to Miss Annie Loving Ferriera.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Take it away.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I just wanted to share that sometimes there's really good things within our reach. We just don't know about it. And if you're listening to this, you already know about Legal Shield. I have another one. And that is, I work for USDA Rural Development. And through this program, we can provide home ownership for people who cannot afford the large down payment that is required through most lenders today. But let me tell you a little bit about myself and why I'm so interested in this program. I moved to Waianae out on the island of Oahu when I was 4 years old. My father bought 1 acre of land for $1,500.
Wow.
And that required a $50 down payment, which he had to borrow from my grandpa. So I don't know how long it took him to pay that back, but we lived in a tent for a couple of months before a house was moved out to our property. My father used to work for the moving company after he got out of the military. And there were a lot of houses where our airport is today. And because he was working for them, he got one of the houses. Wow. So after that, we were in a house, and I think it was many months more before we had electricity and running water. But that is my beginnings. Okay, my father worked, after he left that moving company, he went to work as an electrician at Pearl Harbor and eventually became the head electrician out at Barbers Point, which is a military base. I'm giving you this background information to show you how much things have changed in my life. I left Hawaii in 1969, moved to Virginia. When I returned home in 1977, the cost of a 2-bedroom condo in Nanakuli was the same price of the 2-bedroom home that I bought in Manassas, Virginia, but that came with 1/3 acre of land. So in Virginia, I bought a house on 1/3 acre of land for what it costs for a 2-bedroom condo in Nanakuli. Amazing. Today, a decent home in the same place I grew up in can easily be sold for $400,000 to $500,000 and above. A nice home or a nicer home would be even higher. And don't mention about if it's on the beach, you're talking about over $1 million. Okay, so if that happened during my lifetime, what will the next generation or two be able to afford? If you're happy to have a home today, I'm also happy for you. But this is why I eagerly accepted the invitation to speak with you today. The second little known secret is that you, your children, and your grandchildren can also afford a home with no down payment. This is a program for first-time homeowners, but you are also considered a first-time homeowner if you have not owned a home in the past 3 years. This is a direct loan from USDA Rural Development. The home must be modest in size and cost and cannot exceed $76,800. Modest. This program was started to strengthen the rural areas throughout the United States. So yes, the home must be in an approved rural area. The current interest rate is 2.75%. Once it is closed, it is locked in for 33 years. Families need to qualify according to family size and income. A family of 1 to 4 needs to be below $100,700, and a family of 5 to 8 below $132,900. Your income, your family size, and your debt determines how much you are available. You would be eligible for. Let's see. And if you don't have credit established, we can look at alternative credit, such as do you make timely payments for, say, your rent, cell phone, auto insurance, cable TV, and or other bills. Aside from no down payment, there are other benefits that can be discussed with your rural development specialist in the area that you live. Two other programs that we have are the guaranteed loans made by approved lenders for those above the income that was stated previously. There's also a program for home repair for very low income families, and if they're over 62, they have grants available. But you know, a lot of times now the grandparents are making room for grandchildren and families. You know, it's just a really hard time. But that's pretty much all that I wanted to share. I want this information to go out. I do want people to know that there are opportunities and ways that you can become a homeowner. And also, there's another program that we sponsor. We're not in charge of this program or anything, but it's called the Self-Help Housing Program, and it's primarily for families. And if they meet the same income criteria that I established for our direct loan, they can build a home together under the supervision of a supervisor and become a homeowner at an even lower cost. The last two projects that was done through self-help housing, families' average payment was less than $1,500 a month. And some even as low as $1,100, but then you still have to add the insurance and taxes. So I just rounded up to say $1,500. But anyway, that's it. That's my excitement. That's the program I work with during the daytime. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Awesome. Annie, is it okay, or if Faye or Trina, either one of you, if you could is it okay to put your phone number, Annie, in the chat box?
My work number.
The work line? Your work line. Okay, let me find your work line. Make sure. So I'll do that. Don't worry about it, Trina or Elliot. But I really appreciate that because, you know, especially I think you bring such a diverse, wide range of experience to the table, Annie, being, you know, that your family came here when you're such at a young age and remembering what Hawaii used to look like and to now. And we have a lot of people in the community who are like that, but they still don't know what available resources are to them. That you could be here for second, 3, 4th generation and not realize that programs, the ones like Annie's, exist, where you can not just be proud of the land, but own it, you know, and for generations. Annie, if you could just kind of share a little bit more about, again, like the time between maybe your time from coming back from Virginia to Hawaii. What was that transition where, and were you straight away always on the west side, or what drew you to the west side?
My oldest sister had asthma as a child, and the doctor said we had to move to a drier area. So we're living currently at that time in Manoa, and everybody thinks Manoa is so what? Wow, you live in Manoa, but that at that time it was surrounded by piggery. It was piggery farms. So, but the thing is that we moved to Miley, and I don't know, it was just so much freedom back then. But one thing that I really want to see, that's a comment. If I don't have my notes, I go nuts.
No, I like it. I like this ad. This is the Addy I'm used to.
But I really wanted to share that do not lock yourself out if you have a home. All of your children need homes. You know, you can refer them to us. With the self-help housing project, that one is more geared towards families. But do you know an adult person that's living with their parent is considered a family? So don't rule yourselves out automatically from that program. But that is only for the self-help housing, because they're really geared in providing a house for families. But single people can use this program. Married couples can use this program. Even two people who are not married can use this program. So it's available for everyone. The main thing is that it's in the rural areas.
Would there be, just as an example, would there be any type of circumstance that would, like if someone is eligible now, but then, and they've gone through building their home, they're living in their home, and then would there be any reason they would become ineligible if they start earning more income, own a business, or anything like that? Or is it more of during the qualification period before the home is built?
If their income surpasses, they may be asked to refinance it to provide the opportunity to another family that's struggling. You know, but even if they refinance it, they're already locked into that lower payment and the lower cost home. You know, but if they try and they cannot, then they would still stay with the program.
Gotcha. So either way, it's a win-win. You would be building equity if financially you find yourself in a better position later down the road, but at least you know you're not using the circumstance of a down payment or you know your credit situation as a reason why you're never gonna qualify to purchase a home, right?
Right. And the reason I found out about self-help housing, I was going to Leeward College. I was on welfare. I had 2 part-time jobs, and I was picking up cans for gas money to go to back and forth to college. And one of the girls that I went to school with, she started working for self-help housing. And I said, "Oh, so how's your job coming?" And she said, "Well, we're just having a difficult time finding the last person for the project so they can all start together." I said, "Oh, really? Tell me more about it." And then she said, "Oh, they have to be low income." I raised my hand. She said, "They have to have, you know, a family." I said, "I have a daughter." And my daughter was a senior in college. And, you know, every question she had, and I answered, her voice was getting more excited than mine because it seemed like the program. But I was still thinking, "Oh, I cannot, because that's the mindset, you know, because every house that you look for, you needed this large down payment. And then I found out after that you also needed this large amount of closing costs. You know what I mean? So it's like, it just seemed like a no-win situation. So, but she said, "Annie, I'll call you back, okay? We'll get back." And she was stuttering and everything. So I started getting a little hopeful, you know, and come to find out, I was able to get into the program. And it was like the longest year. Prior to that, I never used a hammer and nail for anything. But through building the house, my house came to within half an inch of being perfectly squared. And they say a lot of construction people don't get that close because they're just slamming it to get onto the next house. You know, so I felt really good about hearing that. I don't know if that's a true statistic.
Oh, hold on. You muted yourself, Annie. Hold on. Unmute. Oh, oh, there you go. Hello?
Hello?
Okay, we lost you at, we didn't know if that was a true statistic. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. So we lost you at, you didn't know if that was a true statistic about being perfectly squared.
Yeah, so anyway, that's all I had to say about that. But I got into the program, and I was so excited, I couldn't believe it, and even my mother was shocked. And they were having difficult time getting that one because I think the property was 68,000, and they needed to. I think the loan requirement at that time. This tells you again how much homes cost. Couldn't be higher than 65,000. So my mom just sent a note saying that she would take care of the 3,000 difference, and it went through. I just couldn't believe it. But anyway, so that was my first home, and I hope you really hear me when I say my first home, because you don't have to stop at one. You have other generations coming. You have other income needs down the road. But it was my beginning. And from somebody going to college, on welfare, 2 part-time jobs, picking up soda cans for gas money, to becoming a homeowner. And today, that $68,000 home is worth over $500,000. Isn't that unreal? I just can't believe it, you know. So I even want to get choked up about it. But the point is, you have to start somewhere.
Awesome. I love that. See, doesn't it feel better when you speak from the heart without a script?
I would still be at the first sentence if I didn't have that.
No, I love it. I love it. And, you know, it's funny because when, you know, Annie, she part-time sparingly does work with Legal Shield, because she works, you know, there with the organization that she's with, but she is always reluctant to speaking or saying something or kind of give eyes. But as soon as I asked her about speaking about her job and her profession and this program, she was very excited to talk about it, you know. And I love that. And I love that, you know, whatever you do as a profession, whether it be a business or a job or an organization, a nonprofit, we should equally feel that passionate about it. And because it will tie into our story, wherever that is, in our lives, whether it has to do with the generations before us or the generations we're planning for. So thank you, Annie, so much for sharing. Before we close out, it is now 11:21. I love how we're just staying on time here. I just wanted to share with everybody, again, if you're a guest or if you're listening to the replay and you're not familiar with Legal Shield, this is just Ladies of Justice, where we feature women every week about their profession, their organization, their program in which they're affiliated with, really to make wealthy women and how they're winning in life, not just through wellness and well-being, but also in partnership through relationships. And if you're interested in learning more about how Legal Shield can help you as an individual, you as a business owner, please reach out to the person who invited you on the call. They will give you information. We do 2 things. We do legal services and identity theft services, which are 2 very important things, whether the world is in a crisis or not, right? Unfortunately, criminals find opportunities to take advantage of crisis, and they target more companies and more organizations to try to take more information because no one else is looking, especially during this time. So identity theft, truly important. Learn the difference between what we cover and what maybe your bank covers or federal credit union, right? And if you have a business, whether you operate, well, I think most people are operating from home unless you're an essential worker in construction or whatnot. But if you're operating from home without any employees, we still have coverage. Like, just like how Annie said, don't discount yourself as ineligible based on what you think in your mind, because there are different resources that are going to be available to you through the connections that you're making here on this call, whether it has to do with Legal Shield or not. Again, we have a variety of people, whether they come from an insurance background, a construction background, a banking background, a business owner background, real estate background, financial planning background, and even, you know, land banking. Kelvin, I've still yet to get onto the land banking webinar. I can't wake up early enough. Tomorrow is the day, I think, 7 a.m. tomorrow. No, It was today. It was today. Okay. Okay, next Wednesday. Next Wednesday. Because that is definitely something I want to learn more about. With that said, everyone.